everyone, Jem here and welcome to my creative space. So for those of you who've watched any of my recent videos, you will know I'm participating in Defemember this year and the prompt list has just come out. So I've been having a look at this and you can see some of those. One of the things, and just kind of starting to get my creative brain going and thinking about anything I might need to sort of gather up, ready to participate. But one of the things I noticed was here on the 5th, the prompt is snippet roll and woven flowers. And do you know what? I'm going to be really honest with you and go, I have never used a snippet roll. I've never made one, never used one, never had anything to do with them. So I thought to myself, probably ought to do a little bit of research and find out how to make a snippet roll, because obviously I'm going to need one. So obviously there's a whole heap of beautiful YouTube videos out there and I'd really encourage you to go and have a look. There's lots of different ways of creating a snippet roll and well, really as many ways as there are creators. But I also did a little bit of research on Google and this is what Google told me. A snippet roll is a long strip of fabric or paper that's decorated with bits and pieces and then rolled up for storage. When you need a piece for a project, you can snip off a small section or snippet to use. Snippet rolls can be used for many purposes, including journaling, as page tabs tuck spots to edge a pocket or a page. In art, a focal point in an art journal page or mixed media art. Bags, as a strap for handmade bags. You can decorate a snippet roll with a variety of materials such as paper, fabric, buttons, lace, beads, charms and more. You can start with a plain base and then add more to match a theme or colour in your journal. So there you go. I also found out the origin of the word snippet comes from German snippen, to shred or to cut. Now the other thing I discovered in my research is that you can make a snippet roll based with paper as a base, with fabric as a base, or indeed with this kind of, I would call this webbing. So I've also seen videos with people using this as a base. So what I'm going to do today is to make myself a snippet base ready for the Defemember challenge. And I'm going to make a paper based one. I am going to be using the sewing machine, I think, but we're going to start with a paper based one. Alright, so as my base, I'm going to be using one of these envelopes. I picked up a large pack of these in one of our local op shops a little while ago, and they've got a really nice, they're sort of somewhere between paper and cardboard, I would say, so they've got quite a good thickness to them, and this measures 32 by 23 centimetres, which is approximately 13 by 9 inches. So what I've done is I've actually very carefully unglued the side bits, and I'm going to fold that out so that this is going to be the base of my snippet roll. And what I've done is I've collected up a whole pile of bits and pieces, music paper, book pages, I've got some coffee dyed paper, some other bits and pieces here, and I'm going to start by collaging the whole envelope. I'm going to take these little tabs off, but I'm going to collage the whole envelope. Okay, so I've collaged that whole piece just with scraps of music paper and book page and bits and pieces, and that's now completely dry. So what I'm going to do now is to cut it into strips this way and join them together. So this measures 32 centimetres this way. So if we divide that by 5, it comes out around 6.5. So if I cut 5 strips at 6.5 centimetres, that should work out. Now, laugh because maths is not my strong point, but I'm pretty sure that's going to work. So what I'm going to do first is just to trim these flaps off that were part of the original envelope, like this, and the same with this one. And I'm just going to, hopefully you can see that, just get rid of any bits that are hanging over the edge so that I can see what I'm doing. Oh, a little bit wonky there. Okay, never mind. Right. So we want to measure 6.5 centimetres that way. So to fit that in my cutter, I'm actually going to refold it like this. I'm going to come across here. Oh. And there's our first strip. Alright, so I'm going to carry on and do that with the rest, and I should end up with 5 strips. Okay, so there we go, there's my 5 strips, and you'll notice that when I collaged this, I left what was the flap of the envelope without anything on, and the reason being for that is that I'm going to use that flap to join these strips up. As you can see, that's not quite at the end there, that's not quite right, but I think we'll make that work. So what I'm going to do now is to take all of these strips, and using that flap is join them all together, and then we'll come back. Okay, so this is the last one, and I'm just using a tacky glue for this. For the collaging, I used PVA with just a little bit of water mixed in with it, and that's all fully dry. Now I've just clipped those together, and I don't know whether you can see this, but what I have now is a great big long strip. There we go. That will form the basis of my snippet roll. As you can see, I've pegged the joins at the moment just so that they stay together whilst they're drying, and once those are dry, I'll come back and we'll see what the next step is. Alright, so the base of my snippet roll is now dry, and I just have this one long piece. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to take one end, and this is an old toilet roll, and just with a bit of tape, I'm going to tape the end of it onto the toilet roll, and then I'm just going to use this to wind it up. Now, I mean, I'm sure you can do this without a toilet roll, but I thought it might help keep it tidy and make it easier. Now, I could leave this like this, just as a very plain basis of a snippet roll, and then just decorate pieces as I needed them according to the theme or the colour that I was working with. But given that I know I'm going to be using at least some of this for the Dephemerember project, or Dephemerem, yeah, I'm going to have to learn to say that. the Ephemerimber project. I'm actually going to make a start and do the first bit of this. Now again, because I don't quite know what the colours or anything I'm going to be using. Okay, so what I'm finding is that's going to unroll, so I think I'm going to need to find a way of, I'm going to need some kind of peg maybe, which are not up here in my workroom at the moment. I will find some kind of peg to hold that, just to stop it unravelling. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I don't know the exact colours I'm going to be working with yet, so I am still going to keep it quite neutral to start with. But what I have collected up, I've got my favourite script stamp here and some sepia ink. I've got a couple of quite neutral stamps in terms of, you know, background patterns. I've got a few little ticket type tags here. I've got some odds and ends of material because what I am going to do is run it through my sewing machine. And I've got some sort of reasonably neutral coloured bits of paper. So I'm going to make a start. I'm going to do a section at a time. So I'm probably going to pull out, let's have a look, maybe 50 centimetres, half a metre at a time, and work on that. And for me, I think that's going to be a manageable piece to work on to start with. Okay, so I found a peg just to hold my roll there, and as I say, I've got about a 50 centimetre strip here that I'm going to start, and I'm going to, I think I'm going to start just with a little bit of extra script in the background, and see how that goes. I don't know how well it will show up on what we have here already, but let's see. Yeah, so it does give just a little bit more depth. I'll do that in a couple of places along here. And then I might try this little cute, can you see that one? Try this one, and again just see if it adds a bit of depth, particularly if we choose the lighter areas. Oh yeah. My sepia ink pad is getting towards the stage where it needs re-inking, I think. It's one I've had for a long time. There we go. So hopefully you can see that. That's added just a little bit extra background interest. And what I'm going to do now is to sit and collage a few more pieces on there. Now, if you see me putting ribbons and things on, I'm just going to hold them on with some tacky glue or even some pins at the moment, because as I say, I'm going to run this through my sewing machine. And one of the things I am thinking as as I've been doing this, I was wondering whether to split, having made this roll, whether to split it and do several different sections in different colours. But I'll think about that as I go along. As I say, I've got about 50 centimetres here that I'm going to work on to start with, because as I said at the beginning, this is the first time I've made a snippet roll, so you're learning along with me today. All right, let's get some of this done. Okay, so as you will see, I've just been using up scraps, a few odd stickers and bits and pieces that I have. You will also notice I'm quite indecisive about where I put things, but that's about 1/2 metre, 50 centimetres of my first snippet roll completed. And as you will see, I've kept this, like I said, quite neutral, little splashes of colour, but I can always add to this as I'm using it. For example, I could add in something red, maybe a red button, or here maybe a gold orange button, something like that, if that was the colour that I wanted to pick up when I used it. So there we go, that's my first go at a snippet roll. I will do some stitching along this, but for now I'm going to leave it at that. And if you watch my Defemorember videos, I'm sure you will see me using this, and I will also sit and do some more. I think what I've decided to do is perhaps the next bit I unroll I might do with maybe a green or a blue colour theme in mind, so that I've got some different pieces and I could snip different bits off. Alright, so for now I hope that's been useful for you, and as I say, keep your eyes out for my Defemorember videos when you'll see me using this. But for now, thanks for watching folks, ka kite anō.